Hey everyone, Gina here, certified personal trainer, 30 years, and I'm here with my husband, Doc Mitchell, who is a naturopathic doctor. How many years is it now? 35 years?
Yeah, been in the field 35 years now. Naturopathic, holistic, massage, personal trainer, but not at the same level as
Hmm.
Gina. So yeah, between the two of us, what did we calculate that we have like almost 70, over 70 years of our experience together?
What?
Could you believe it?
And even though we have that, there's still always something to learn. We always have to stay cutting edge, and we're always sharing whatever knowledge we have. And that's part of the reason we're doing this, which is
Yes.
whatever we know is meant to be shared, and we are always learning. We're always learning more and how to be better, and in this case, better communicators.
Yes.
And what the difference is between talking, I say talking, he says talking,
Yeah.
same thing, different person.
Well, for starters, we also want to invite you because this is going to be an ongoing thing, and this is our raw talk as we with who we are together. We just realize we're open to talking about anything together. I mean, some things you want to keep private, but really, for the most part, we just talk raw. We talk authentic. We talk from the heart. We talk from, not just our heads, right? A lot of times in naturopathic medicine, we say sometimes you need a checkup from the neck up. But when it comes to Gina and I, we communicate, and we're going to share with you what that means, the difference between communication and talking.
Yes, and to uh, to sort of circumvent or go to the beginning of that, I'll tell you that in my childhood, especially,
Mm,
confrontation, like communication, meant confrontation.
yeah.
Talking meant confrontation, and I have so much, I would say, now resolved trauma, but for a long time I had unresolved trauma. And every interaction that I had in my adult life was from whatever my amygdala, which is that stored childhood memory bank, okay, stored memories. And some of them are not true. Some of them lie to you. Some of them make you feel certain things, but it's only what is being pumped into your body from your childhood. So I have certain things I've anchored in as this is scary, this isn't safe, I'm afraid, I'm fearful, I have pain when I have a conversation with Mitchell who has nothing to do with any of that. And one of our earlier talks was on getting triggered and how we handle that. And that's just one piece of the communication.
For sure.
Do you want to explain what the difference between talking and communication is?
Yeah, what I've boiled down, because I've actually taken multiple communication courses, and I remember the first time I was a little resistant, as typical. It's just human nature. But I remember going, I don't need a course on communication. And then after the first day, I came out of there going, oh, I don't think I know as much as I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things the instructor shared with us was how do you differentiate between what we call talking and what we call communication? So what we boiled down was his name was Carlos, and he'd been at this for years. And one of the things he said was talking, to keep it simplified, talking is much more of the external world. In other words, how's the weather?
Right.
How's the football game? How's your car? Those things. The communication has a lot more to do with the internal world. Like, how do I feel about the weather? What's going on for me when I have these kind of days? Like, I had a challenge with something going on with my car. How do I feel about that? Why is it aggravating me, or why am I joyful about it? So it's more of an internal thing when you're communicating. So when we're talking to each other, there'll be times when Gina will actually ask me, "So tell me, what does that mean for you?" And it makes me stop and think, oh, she wants to know what I'm really going through, what's really going on, which
Right.
is a whole lot different than, oh, well, I had a good day. Okay, that's talking, but then why did I have a good day? What was good about it? What did I accomplish? And how did I feel about that? It's a whole different world.
That's very true. So I know that we both have done our own work and we're always in the growth process. And every time we have an interaction that's uncomfortable, we're growing new neurons in the brain. We're actually growing new neurons. We're creating different experiences. And the more repetitive it becomes more of a habit, just like
Yeah.
anything else.
Yes.
We brush our teeth, it's a habit.
For sure.
We wash the dishes after we eat something, it's a habit. I work out, my workout is a habit. So it creates a habitual, um,
A habit.
yeah, a
Right?
habit,
Yeah.
a habitual activity.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay. And the one thing that I've come to realize, especially because Gina and we're very similar in a lot of ways, and we do have our differences. And when it comes to how we process information or how we process life experiences, for me, as an example, I'm an astrological Cancer Leo. So for me, when I'm dealing with an emotion, if I have a very strong emotion, like I tell her, I just need time to process it. It might take an hour, it might take a half a day. I try not to let it go on for much longer than that, but I want to explain, I want to be able to communicate what happened, what went on, what it might have actually stirred up for me. Gina, on the other hand, some things she can process, I swear to God, it seems like it takes minutes. And it just blows me away. Like, how did you come to that so quickly? Well, because we process differently. And that's one of the arts of communication, especially when you're in a relationship with somebody and it's an intimate relationship or it's a family member, like it could be children or parents. We all have our own way of communicating. Now, some people don't communicate because they don't understand when I'm asking you, how was your day? Or what's going on? Why is that? They are like, oh, no, it's great. Everything's great. My dad's a great example of that. For him, oh, everything is fine. I feel wonderful. And I'm like, yeah, but why? What does that mean? And it's almost like he doesn't understand. And I don't get upset about it, but if I work with it a little bit and I'm talking with him a little, a lot of times I can get him to kind of open up and sort of like let his guard down, because as rough and tough as he is on the outside, sometimes he's pretty sensitive on the inside. So it's an art form. Communication's an art form. Now, talking, yeah, that has a slightly different art form.
That's very true. What we wanted to do was give you some examples
Yes.
of communication examples. Did I say examples already?
Yes.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm trying to communicate is examples. Okay, so I made that perfectly clear. I want to just kind of show you what it could look like, the way I would say something to Mitchell in an incorrect way. You might get a chuckle out of it, and what I consider incorrect, or not something that he is going to be receptive to or be able to acknowledge in his body, because he will feel defensive or triggered. And what I want, my goal is always to get to peace. When I
Love it.
forget that, things
Love it.
go awry. So if I go into the interaction is my true goal is I want peace and I don't want to waste energy or time, things go really well. I'm just going to say that. You actually need to feel like you have a goal in mind when you do this.
Yes.
I very intentionally too. So for instance, if he does something that doesn't sit well with me, he doesn't know that it doesn't sit well with me. He's just being himself. He doesn't do anything intentionally to upset me. It doesn't do anything intentionally to anger me, but it happens. So I might say the incorrect way. What I might say to him is, why did you have to do that? Why did you have to say it like that? I don't understand. I just don't understand. Can you make me understand?
Yeah.
Do you see my body language?
Yes.
Do you see my facial expression? Do you really think he's going to be receptive to that? Do you know how many times I've made this mistake? I can't even tell you. I'd be so rich if I made a nickel on every time. Honestly, here's what we call a sandwich technique. We're not the originators of it.
Correct.
It's sort of a quote that I don't know, someone made up years ago, but it really works. And the thing is, try to be as genuine as you possibly can. in the communication of it. So I might say, I see that you took care of a few things today that I really wanted to take care of, but you did, and so I just want to acknowledge you, and I appreciate it so much.
Right.
And the other thing I wanted to express is I was really upset before by what had happened, and I wanted to know where were you at that moment, and what was your reason for doing that, just so I can understand and not be confused about what was happening there. Would you
Sure.
be able to elaborate on that for me? Now, before he says anything, it does sound contrived. I'm doing it this way because in the beginning mine was contrived. I was, as a novice, it will sound a little uncomfortable and icky and weird, but you have to start somewhere. Okay, so I'm kind of telling you the beginner version of this.
And I'm actually gonna make it a real situation. uh, we kind of have this little thing about who does the laundry, right? Now, because I work at home, I have a home office, and I do a lot of my work from my home office. That I'm already there. Gina, who puts in sometimes ungodly hours between the driving and going from different clubs and in her boutique gym, she's on the road a lot. So I'm like, I'm already home. She said, yeah, but you should be working and not doing the laundry. So like I'm home. I've been doing it for so long. I just do it and then it's done. And then she'll get home and go, why'd you do the laundry? I don't understand. You should have been working. And I'm like, okay, so you're getting upset because I did the laundry. And she's like, well, yeah, because it took you away from working. And so I have to step back for a moment and take a deep breath and honor that she got upset about that. Now, it might have nothing to do with the fact that I did the laundry. It could have something to do with something entirely different.
That's true.
But if I just react or get defensive, then it explodes and it goes in a direction that's not best serving to our relationship. So I try to instill upon her again, I appreciate your desire to want to take care of that, but I'm already here. It doesn't take me very long. I've already gotten used to it because I've been doing it for so long because I've worked from home for probably the last 8, 9 years. And it's just something that's part of my schedule. And I feel like it saves you from having to come home after a long day. But see how I'm approaching from, like she said, the sandwich method. First, I appreciate the consideration, right? And I want you to know I'm doing this, first of all, because it also serves me, but it also serves you that you don't have to do it when you get home, which then frees us up to spend time together instead of folding laundry. And then I end it with, you know, again, I did get my work done. And for me, it's a little bit of a break, but I honor you for bringing it up, and I appreciate that.
Hmm.
So again, it's that level of trust, the level of deeper communication, what's really going on for me, and honoring what's really going on for Gina, right? Instead of just getting all defensive as to why she's upset with the fact that I did the laundry and she told me she was going to do it. I mean, it may sound like a silly example, but this is the kind of stuff that happens in relationships, right? Now, it could be laundry, it could be finance, it could be, any number of things. But again, it's stepping back for a moment. So here's a little technique that I learned in Toastmasters, and we've actually practiced it a number of times, and we always continue practicing it. It's called the silent pause, right? You take a moment before you're going to say something, because this went with a little bit of practice and a little bit of training, you get the experience of knowing that if I just stop for a moment and think to myself, do I need to say this? Is it something that needs to be talked about right now? Is now the best time? And is this the best way?
Right.
Right? And if I say to myself no to any of those, I don't say it right then and there. Either I wait till the temperature comes down, or I just realize it doesn't need to be said. Maybe it was just something that I need to look at. And that, again, is the part of communication because it's internal.
Absolutely. The thing that Mitchell does that's really, really helpful to me, especially from where my triggers are. One of my what I would consider a core wound, which we will get into another time. We're not going to discuss what core wounds are at this moment, but one of my core wounds was, am I defective? And I was very, very sensitive to anything that sounded like criticism, even if it doesn't even sound like criticism to another person, especially him. So what he'll do is, this is his version of the sandwich technique, if it's okay if I say it,
For
which
sure.
is, I don't want you to get defensive. I just want to express myself. Are you open to hearing what I would like to say to you right now? Would you be open to that? If not, it's okay. But I would really like to express that to you.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever said no. Maybe one time he said no because he wasn't in the right place to hear something when I've done it with him. But he does that with me in order to say, I'm not criticizing you. This is not a put down. I don't want you to feel overly sensitive over something that I know I just want to express to you. I'm not asking you to change it. I'm not asking you to fix it. I just want to express how I feel. That's basically what that is. And so I always appreciate when he does that. Do you want to give an example of that?
I don't have one off the top of my head, but
Okay.
I'll bring it up another time. But one of the things that I really want to convey this, because this is critical, right? Something like I've taken at least 3 courses in communication. I did Toastmasters for 7 years. Gina's done a course in personal development that took her years to do. This is not it's a skill. It's not a switch. You don't just flip a switch and all of a sudden you have this. So communication is something you have to work on. I like to use the analogy, especially because we're both into health. It's like a muscle. You want to make the muscle stronger, you have to exercise it. You want to keep the muscle strong, you have to keep exercising it, right? And so it's like any muscle, you have to practice this communication. And listen, there'll be times when you mess up. Another talk we're going to do is we're going to talk about what a clearing is and how do you clean stuff up, right? Again, that's another talk for another time, but just know this as we wind up, it takes practice. And trust me when I tell you, our relationship has blossomed as a result of the fact that we're both willing. And again, it doesn't have to be an intimate partner. I just happen to be lucky in this way. It could be with your children.
Right.
It could be with work associates. Remember how much time we spend on the job, right? It takes practice and it's worth every aching moment of it. Again, so things are a little different when it's at work or when it's with your kids, but it's still the same concept. Okay.
I think the bottom line is everyone wants to be seen, heard, and understood. And if we don't feel that, just as human beings, right? If we don't feel that, it's really hard on any relationship, even in a working relationship. And we have a working relationship. Yeah. We have our company, which is Health Cell Partners. So we have to be able to communicate, even if we're not in the right frame of mind. We have to figure out a way to communicate with each other respectfully and mindfully so that we're not upsetting each other and we are just caring for each other's boundaries and where we're coming from.
Yeah. So in our closing thoughts, again, and I'm going to reiterate what Gina said earlier, which I've actually started to take on. The end goal is peace, being peaceful. And one of the things that I'm practicing a lot of is kindness, right? Being kind to each other. And with kindness leads to peacefulness. And at the end of the day, what do we all really want is just to have a peaceful life, filled with joy and fulfillment and satisfaction and contribution. And so from us to you, we like to say, raw talk your way and understand it's an ongoing process. You are not broken. We are a work in progress.
That's right. That's right. We all are. And just love yourself first, forgive yourself second, and then you can do that with everyone else.
Amen to that.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.